Okay, so hi everybody. Let's see how it works. Okay, so my name is Niv. I'm making games since mobile games exist, at least on smartphone. And I'm going to share with you some lessons I've learned over the, I would say, a little bit more than 15 years. So confusing. Sorry, I'm going to look at you. Okay, so over the years, I had different roles. I was a founder and the CEO of a mobile games company. I was in charge of marketing, art direction, and I have three boys, which is not related, but just fun. And I'm going to share two main lessons I've learned over the years, and we're going to start with the first one. So game is a living creature, I would say. Yes, creature. And by that, I mean that unlike other medias, game is something that you can change over time. You can see here, this is a graph of a game that was updated many times over the years. And you can release your game when it's very ugly and then make it better and then make it amazing. And this is something that is very unique for mobile games, because if you think about it, books or movies, if you had a very bad scene in your movie, you can't fix it later. I mean, you can after many years if people still like the movie, but in game you have the chance to do it. And this is actually kind of a superpower of game developers. And while many other production try to aim for the best production value, you can actually control it and aim for very low production value. And this is actually a very good advantage that you have, because you can save time and to be first in the market. I'm going to share some examples, real examples. So this is the game I made a few years ago. You can see on the left side, it's a 5-minute sketch for a background for the game. The goal was just to have a background to give, spooky atmosphere. And you can see that later on, when the game got some success, we brought a designer that actually, illustrated each one of the benches. And in the end, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that the game can grow as a business, and you can be on time on the market. By the way, you see the small creature, you saw it before. It's called the water bear. In case you don't know what is it, it's a tiny animal that can live in space without eating for years. So if you're going to fundraise, the next buzzword is not AI, is water bears. And we're going to play a game in this presentation. So I'm going to hide some of them in the presentation. By the end, you'll have a quiz. We'll see how much you found. Okay, so this is one on the house. Okay, so another example. This is something that I used in one of my game when the game was released. We used those icons. Everybody can see that it's grapes, bear, and seahorse. And later on, we brought designers that did amazing work. But to understand the game and to actually play it, you can just use the first one. And these days, everything is super easy because you have AIs that can bring something that is better than default random icons from the internet. And when you change your game over time, it have an interesting impact, because players that play the original versions can suddenly react to it. It's not necessarily a positive thing, but when users react, it's always positive. In this case, I don't know why they chose this hairstyle when they upgrade the game. It's I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, another example, another game that I've made. You can see that on the left side, it's designed by developers, and then later on we brought actual UI designers that did amazing work. Zero change on the KPIs. And then there is the question, why do we need art in games, right? Because I said that it's not relevant and you can save time to be on market. And over the year, I found out that it's super important for communication. So let's say you are a mouse, right? And you see a cheese, it's a good thing that you need to collect. If you see a mouse, it's a bad thing. So communication, this is one. But the most important thing is obviously marketing. You can take one game to address it with dragons, and then suddenly it's an RPG game for RPG players, while the same gameplay can be for very different audience, and then this is how you can scale and grow with your business. and again, this is something you can change over time. So again, a game that I made a few years ago, this is how the game looked when it was first released. You can see it's very colorful, very casual, maybe for young kids. But later on, we saw that it's mainly men, age 18 till 34. So we took this design and we made some changes to have a better fit for the audience. So again, this is something you can change and play with while the game is already live. Another cool story. Everybody know Archero, right? Archero. Cool game, amazing success. Not many knows that all of the assets are from the asset store, so you can actually see the characters. And even today, you can buy them for $50. This is a cool way that the company used that and gave up on be original IP, and they just brought the game super fast to the market. Now, as both CEO and art director, you can see why playing with art can be something that is kind of, I don't know, it's hard to decide when you need to put effort in art and when it's really don't matter. And over the year, I found a way how to make decisions. So this is what I'm going to share. So in the end, we are all performance marketing. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the phrase, basically, you buy something in $1, you sell it 1.3, you make profits, right? This is amazing. In our field, it means that the effort that you make to bring users to the game is lower than the actually revenue that you make, right? And this process is basically how not to lose players along the way. And actually, you can imagine that the game goal is to filter all the players from the first ads that you see all the way to the game, all the way to be pairs. Cool, something I noticed few weeks ago, if you go to Madrid airport on your way to the flight, they will force you to go through the duty free, right? And in Tel Aviv, it's not the case. You have it somewhere on the left side, right? And you can imagine where you have more impressions to the product. If you go with your kids, suddenly they really want to get M&M and you need to buy perfume for your mother-in-law, right? So more impressions give you more transactions. This is totally fake AI screenshot of a game, but let's have a quiz. Which game will make more revenue? B, obviously, right? Because you have the shop icon and you have opportunity to buy. So this is something that many people miss, but if your game don't have the opportunity to buy as many as possible, you're missing lots of players. So this specifically is a game changer. I saw it many times. If you don't have your store always available, do it today. Okay, so this is lesson 1. Okay, everybody happy. Lesson 2. So CPI is always going up, right? This is true or not true? If it was true, how come hyper casual came 10 years after the mobile industry came, right? It doesn't make any sense. So what I think it's really happens, and it's not necessarily the true, but once in a while there is a new genre, and this is where everybody wants to be, right? Someone found a gold, and then everybody wants to dig in the same place. And this is why you see many games that are in the same, you can say it's the same game or even the same genre. But what really happens is that everybody trying to aim to the same players, CPI goes up. So CPI is not going up in general, it's going up for specific genres and specific games or specific competition. And when you think about it, it's because everything is too crowded. So putting a second US flag on the moon is not cool after the first one was there or not originally. Okay, so success stories. So if you think about companies that really made it over the years, and I'm going to go way back in the years. Anyone recognize this game? So this is the first game that was made by Supercell. So when they first launched the mobile game, they already had experience, and they compete against 14 years, I think it was Russian game developer. Yes, I don't know. So they really had an advantage over the competition, and this is why it brought them and pushed them very strongly at the beginning. Other companies, this is example from Pirate King by Jelly Button, had huge success because they found that they can use the unlimited invite friend option that used to be like that, because later on Facebook blocked it. But this was a really strong really way for them to push this genre forward, and now it's a huge genre, right? Other companies found out another original way to succeed is by creating many games in the same genre and take over the category. So if you think about it, many of the companies that did it had the opportunity to do something very different. And many companies are making mistake by thinking like a corporate. So many new teams try to optimize, to release a game, optimize day 1, day 7, day 30, and then think about monetization. There is like a lot of, like if you ask anyone, this is what you'll be told, right? That there is some step that you need to go and to improve to see if your game is going to be successful. And in my opinion, this is something that unless you have $40 million, it's not the way to succeed. If you have a small team, you need to find your new original way. And in the end, it's all timing and hacking the ecosystem. Okay. And I'm going to finish with the last lesson. It's not my lesson. It's something that my father used to tell me as a kid. I don't know why he was telling me that. It's not related to anything, but it's just a story that is, I don't know. I want to pass this message. But big companies are like huge ships that are sailing into, I don't know, specific direction. And if you want to compete them, the only way is by being a very small team. You can say a speedboat, and then you can change into a new direction to find new island, new lands. You can't compete the big competition. You have to be first on somewhere else. This is the corporate people. That's it. Okay, so how many water bears we had in the presentation? 4, 3, 5. Okay, ready for the answer? 5. Winner. You get my bag. Okay, that's it. Thank you.